it happened at the time when the internet was expanding into the movie business in a kind of a different way, you know what I mean? And like the fan sites and the relationship with the fans and the studios and the comic book creators and stuff was changing and evolving. Zack told me he wanted to basically do the tone of the Dark Knight, you know, Frank Miller series, where he's older and he's kind of broken down and more vulnerable. And I thought that was a really interesting approach to Batman. The spirit of that, as a guy who's vulnerable, as a guy who's aches when he gets up in the morning, as a guy who like feels a lot of psychological sort of torment, I thought was a really interesting approach to playing a hero, and that was how, you know, what we wanted to do. And you know, I had a better time on Batman vs Superman, which I really enjoyed doing. And Justice League was unfortunately like you know, touched by, you know, some personal tragedy and of, you know, death in Zack's family, and it just, like I say, sometimes things sort of work and gel, and sometimes they just, you know, you seem to be just having one problem after another, you know. I really loved Batman vs Superman, and Chris wrote on it, and I really love Zack, and I loved putting on the costume, and the idea of doing the digital alteration to the voice was really interesting to me, and I had a good time. I love Detroit. It was a really fun city, a really cool place. You know, my kids came out and visited me and saw me in the bat suit, and they let me borrow the suit for my son's birthday, and so that was a lot of fun. And I sort of had my fill of that. They said, do you want to direct and star in like a solo Batman movie? I found that I had kind of at just some point lost my enthusiasm or passion for it. You know, I was like, this should really be made by somebody for whom it's their wildest dream, you know, come true. And for me, it had become like something different, and it was clear to me that it was time to move on. But I do have some really fond memories, particularly of Batman vs Superman, and how exciting that was, and how energizing it was, and
that movie, you know, having two directors is a very weird thing. You know what I mean? And there's Justice League, the director had a family tragedy and had to leave.
Did you know about that? What, the Snyder Cut thing?
Yeah, and so you have a kind of cow's body and a horse's head a little bit with two directors a lot of times, and you know, for better or for worse, I think, you know, well, I do think, you know, Zack's cut should be available, for sure. Well, I do think, you know, Zack's cut should be available, for sure.
So, Ben Affleck, aka the greatest Batman ever, has been dropping some truth bombs about what happened with the Justice League. We finally know the truth. An actor from someone from Hollywood has basically come out and said the reshoots destroyed such a great movie, and I believe the fans should get to see the Snyder Cut. Now, Ben Affleck is still working with Warner Bros. He's just released a movie that is coming out very, very soon, so he has a good relationship with Warner Bros. So why would he say it if it wasn't true? He wouldn't want to do anything to tarnish his relationship with Warner Bros. So we know this is true. So in the video clip, you see someone very passionate about playing Batman. He really wanted to play Batman. He loved to play Batman, and he fell out of love with the role. Most likely due to his comments about reshoots and having two directors, and it just wasn't great, and a family tragedy. And all of a sudden, they changed 90% of the movie, and we've never seen them release the said Snyder Cut that most people believe will be coming to HBO Max. So what is interesting is he said it was a very different variation of Batman that we've seen in BVS, a beaten up version of Batman that we haven't seen before, and I believe we have not seen that variation of Batman before. And then when he went on to talk about the Justice League, it was like it just fell apart. It was kind of heartbreaking to see as how good variation of Batman that Ben Affleck did, to hear his comments about the Justice League, which should have been one of the greatest movies ever, that just wasn't, because Zack Snyder's variation got cut off. There was no Darkseid, no Green Lantern. Literally, they chopped off half the movie. So as you know, I am the advocate. I am one of the founding fathers of release said Snyder Cut. But I'm not part of the cult when it comes to release the Snyder Cut. So he is publicly talking about the Justice League Snyder Cut that should have been released, that was never going to be released at the moment, but it appears because so many people being vocal. Jason Momoa said he's seen it. Gal Gadot has also spoken about it recently, but she doesn't want to annoy Warner Bros. Because she's going to be releasing Wonder Woman 1984 very soon. So everyone in said movie is talking about it, except for Henry Cavill. What the hell is he doing? Oh wait, he's in talks for Man of Steel 2, Man of Tomorrow. That's why he's not saying anything, because he's in negotiations for Man of Steel 2. We broke that scoop. It's not really a scoop, because let's be honest, I said it weeks ago. We broke that story down a few days ago. I'll leave it in this video as well. So why did the Justice League break down? Because if Zack Snyder's variation came out, it would have destroyed every team-up movie, including the Avengers, really. It would have beat Avengers 1 for sure, realistically. So what he said is, it's a very weird thing to have two directors. And seeing as Ben Affleck is such a great director himself. He's not just an actor, he's a director. He was in fact going to direct the Batman movie with Matt Reeves being co-producer, but then he decided he didn't want to because he just didn't want to because he had personal stuff going on. So he said it's a very weird thing to have two directors going on, and then there was the family tragedy that could not be stopped and could not be helped. But for some reason, they decided to bring Joss Whedon in for no reason. And then what he said was, it was like butting heads. Two directors butting heads. So what it sounds like to me is that he wants to talk publicly, but he doesn't want to go into much detail because he went on to say, I don't know, I just feel like the fans need to see it. So it's telling me that a lot of things went on behind the scenes that weren't supposed to go on. Now, before everyone starts to Joss Whedon or just Whedon hate culture, no, it's not hate culture, because Zack Snyder actually apparently picked him to replace him. But if you change 70, 90, 80, in fact the whole movie, and you have the Flash falling on top of Wonder Woman to be a quirky quip. Now, if you've ever read a Flash comic, which I presume 90% of people that watch comic book movies haven't, the Flash would never fall on top of someone. The Flash is a very skilled speedster. He knows exactly what he's doing. And it is a real shame, because you have this Marvel versus DC, which I don't understand, because DC's always going to win. Or is it? I don't know. You let me know down below. Is a lot of the Avengers fanboys came out and said the Justice League was awful, but we've not actually seen the Justice League movie. This is like, I have to explain it to a lot of people I know personally in real life. You might not like the Justice League movie, but you've not even seen it. So his comments at the end, it almost felt like to me, because he's still working with Warner Bros. On the movie he's just about to release at the end of this month, that he's not allowed to go into full details. Obviously, he must have signed some non-disclosure like everyone else did, because no one else has really said anything. Jason Momoa said, yeah, I've seen it exists, and that's it. And Jason Momoa's obviously got Aquaman too. So, like I keep saying, guys, this movie is coming on HBO Max at some point. Don't expect it upon release, but it is coming. It's very much coming. There is a rumor going around that obviously they Warner Bros. Are apparently going to be giving Zack Snyder $10 million to finish the movie. Now, the movie is finished, in a sense, and he put out a teaser a few days ago saying that he wanted to maybe do some additional scene, but that was more to do with a poster competition that someone won, and it involved Lois Lane, Superman, Batman, and Martian Manhunter. Now, the way that Ben Affleck is if Zack Snyder was like, can you come shoot one more scene in the movie for the Snyder Cut? He'd be like, yeah, sure, because he's so passionate. He actually gave Zack Snyder so much props. I mean, if you've seen 300, if you've seen any other movie, you would know how aesthetically pleasing Zack Snyder's work is. It's very beautiful. That's one thing you can say about Snyder's movies. Even if you don't like him, they are aesthetically pleasing. I mean, he had a lot to do with Wonder Woman 1, the original one, which I don't actually think is that great, but it gets a lot of props in the media because it's Gal Gadot. And apparently he's co-producing. He's got something to do with Wonder Woman 1984. Now, some comments on my big Justice League video I did a few weeks ago said that, but I can't really seem to find any concrete evidence. But it's just evident that even though the release of Snyder Cut isn't out, he's still willing to work with Warner Bros. On any given project because he is a professional. So why am I making this video? Because I find Ben Affleck's comments very interesting, because yes, he did hashtag release the Snyder Cut on the 2-year anniversary of the Justice League movie being released. But after that, he didn't really say anything. We know Ray Fisher, who obviously is Cyborg, the actor who plays him, said a lot of stuff. He said a lot of stuff. There was a lot of football scenes that were cut out. His mother was in it a lot more. There was so many scenes that were cut in this movie, Dark Side. You know, we even had an Iris West. We had a Henry Allen scene that was in the first trailer when he was in jail, you know, following the famous storyline where Henry Allen is in jail for the death of Nora Allen, obviously his mother, so to speak. But that was cut. Like the Reverse Flash, there was so much coolness in this movie. There was Joe Manganiello. Okay, I'm gonna say it wrong, so butcher me down below. Deathstroke versus Batman. That could have been insane. Lex Luthor right at the end got the bald head. He got the suit. There's so much that could be done from this. And seeing as DC are not scared to do, you know, like a dark universe. We've had the Joker movie gross 1.1 billion, a very low production value. It didn't really cost much money, so it's the most successful movie in the 21st century. And I know exactly what you're going to say. No, EndGame, what? No, shh. EndGame was not. We're on about profit here. Profit. The Joker movie cost nothing to make, nothing to market. Yet it made the most money in terms of gross profit. Profit. The Joker is the most successful comic book movie in the world. The accolades, the Oscars. It's got literally every pinnacle award you could get. Best picture, best actor, everything. Best score, literally everything. So DC are not scared to do Elseworld dark storylines. So if they wanted to continue this Justice League, they really could. But I don't think we'll be getting part 2 either way. Even if we ever do get, you know, release a Snyder Cut Part 1, as we know it's supposed to be a Part 2er, that Infinity War and Endgame stole. I'm going to say it, they stole. They stole it because Zack Snyder pitched the Justice League movie initially as 2 different movies, and you know, all of a sudden it's Avengers 3 and 4 concurrent storyline, which made no sense. It's like, okay, you're stealing from us. But let's be honest, guys, all the ideas are shared. You know how Deathstroke, and then you have, you know, Deadpool, who is Wade Wilson, a rip-off of Slade Wilson. You know, it's just interesting to me how DC will always win, but will never win in some capacity. So, guys, let me know. Do you think Ben Affleck's comments really mean that release said Snyder Cut is actually going to be coming? Now, I know a lot of people tend to put on the videos I'm coming across as a DC stain. Just if you're going to call me a DC stain, just look through how many hundreds of Marvel videos I am doing. It is such a shame that Ben Affleck, due to personal reasons in his personal life, and obviously the director of the Justice League movie having to take some time away due to a family tragedy, they never got to finish the Justice League movie properly the way it should have been finished. And you all know what's supposed to happen. Batman was going to die in Part 2 anyway, so it's not like Ben Affleck was going to be Batman long term, but we never got to see a solo Batman movie with the greatest Batman ever, which is Ben Affleck, in my opinion. And I know a lot of you people are going to be typing down below going, but Christian Bale. Yeah, Christian Bale would have known that Dark Knight trilogy was great, but it was not BVS. BVS has got some of the greatest scenes ever. So like always, guys, please like, subscribe, and comment. Hopefully, this will be the last video I do on the Justice League movie until the release of Snyder Cut is officially confirmed and verified on Vero by Zack Snyder. So like always, guys, please like, subscribe, and comment. Catch you in another video very soon. Catch you later.